Hello, my friends. Nice to see you today. Welcome in the beautiful Saturday and in the program Active 50 TV Institute of Longevity. Welcome. Today we have Gus, Dr. Sanjay Srivatsa. Welcome.
Thank you.
In this program, first of all, I tell you, my friends, the motivation speech. We meet every day. I just tell for the people who is first time today, we meet every day from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 7 days per week. And this is very, very biggest pleasure for us to be together. And we have the motivation speech every day, every morning, 10 a.m. And next we have like biography, and we have like trip to the amazing country. It's like Italy, Poland, Greece. And we have something surprise. In USA, we visit Miami, we visit Sedona, and many beautiful places. We go to Yosemite, and I have the amazing movie which I want to show you when you never be, and biography especially about people like Marie Curie Skłodowska yesterday. Please, you watch, go to the Facebook Active 50 TV Institute of Longevity, or go to the YouTube, where we have in YouTube. I just tell you where we are. In YouTube, we are the seniors in USA, Kate Dorosh. Welcome in my channel. And you have something extremely amazing biography about amazing woman, Marie Skłodowska-Curie. 2 times Nobel Prize. It's first woman who have the Nobel Prize, first woman who have driver license in the world. Something nice, my friends.
And the one family that has 3 Nobel Prizes.
4.
Her daughter won the Nobel Prize.
Daughter and Pierre have 2. What's mean have 5 Nobel Prizes, the one family, which is unusual.
Very unusual.
Very unusual, yes. And this is first woman who have 2 times the Nobel Prize for physics and chemistry.
Yes.
And she worked with the Pierre Curie very hard. And this is, we never know where is the line, where is the Zoom, where is love, where is work, where is job. But something amazing woman. Do you know, doctor? And when she have the wedding, Pierre asked her, what do you want for a gift from me? What's dress? What kind of dress? And she's very simple woman, and she choose the dress which is dark blue. Why? Because she tell Pierre, you know, every day I have possibility to use the dress to my laboratory, to my workplace, and to my office. It's not nice.
Very practical, very hardworking, very compassionate person.
Yes. It's something amazing with her. Today my motivation speech will be about beautiful woman. What is the beautiful woman? But you, my friends, please write here in the Facebook, write to us the question. And I print many of questions from you. And when you have more, please enjoy the time with us, especially then Dr. Sanjay is here. And it's amazing time for you because you have free access to be with Dr. Sanjay. Welcome, Joe. Beautiful woman. Beauty is such a great thing. At the age of 18, this could be physician looks, luxury hair and perfect future. But with maturity, we discover that it's so much more. It's about curiosity, intelligence, creativity, generosity, spreading joy, love, being true to yourself, wonderful, growing. When I have mistake with my grammar, please correct me, Sanjay.
Yes,
Thank
not
you.
a problem. I think we
Everybody,
understand
my
you.
audience know, and I learned the English language. 4 years ago, and sometimes I'm doing mistakes, so sorry. Design a positive body image to have inner energy and lets it just shit and relays.
Yes.
Physical beauty doesn't waste away. It blends and enhances with spiritual beauty as time evolves. What is the true beauty of mature and self-confident woman? Always younger women ask me. And my answer, I think that younger women look at the women of my generation and see that we are naturally our service, not forced or artificial. We are still involved in life, and we have something very dynamic to offer to the world. True? True. Real beauty comes first and foremost from the depths of the soul. Here, my friends, beauty is here.
Yes.
Sometimes we have wrinkles, sometimes we are older, but we never change. Not never, but unusual. We are inside who we are. And this beauty, it's here. It's inside us. Real beauty comes first and foremost from the depth of the soul. We must have the courage to be ourselves, and this comes from the wisdom we have acquired over the years. We are full of positive vibration and excited as ever about being involved in life. This is true beauty. Realize it's for yourself. If I ask you now to rate your confidence on a scale of 1 to 10, what will you say? Do you have a clearly defined path or plan of action in life? Can you grow yourself by knowing your worth and reaching for what you deserve in your life? This is question for today. But now, my friends, I have many of questions for Dr. Sanjay Srivatsa, cardiologist, and I give you the microphone. Okay, it's yours now.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. You be with us. I really appreciate. I think my audience appreciate too. Be together with us and give for us more questions, which is very, very important. The first question, which I have in my list, because this situation is now a little bit different. My program is dedicated to people after 50, especially seniors in seniors living, seniors who stay in home and who have support, but now it's a little bit different in this time when it's coronavirus. And we have many of information, yes, but from this information, we just want to know what is the best for seniors. It is true that vitamin D can help us strengthen our immune system.
Yeah. So the question is, can vitamin D
Yes.
help strengthen
Yes.
your immune system?
Especially now where is coronavirus.
I think we just have to step back a little from that question and ask, what can we do in general to improve our immune system? In this time where we are all confined to our houses and living quarters as part of this quarantine that's now in effect for the COVID-19 illness, we have to emphasize three basic principles. The first is nutrition. Obviously, if we're malnourished or we don't take the right types of nourishment, our immune system can't possibly work right. So keeping a balanced diet, eating plenty of healthy foods, and by that I mean fruits, vegetables, sources of vitamin C, a different vitamin, but nevertheless a very important one for the immune system. In fact, slightly off topic, but vitamin C is one of the key things that is being given in intravenous form to patients who have severe COVID-19 infection in the hospitals. So what's good for them is most likely good for us. And as we all know, vitamin C is what we take plenty of when we have the flu. No reason to imagine that this would be any different. Vitamin C, either in the form of fruit juices, fruits, vegetables. Vegetables and fruits that are rich in vitamin C are particularly, orange juice, acai juice, blueberries, mulberries, raspberries. These are all rich in vitamin C, but essentially all fruits and vegetables. As far as vitamin D is concerned, the data is not quite so clear as to whether this is beneficial. However, there are reports now from various parts of the world that high-dose vitamin C may be helpful in recovery from a COVID-19 infection. So definitely for those who are not exposed to sunlight, who are spending large amounts of time indoors in artificial light or low light conditions, vitamin D would be a very good thing to supplement. If not for protection against the COVID-19, but definitely for general health. Don't forget, please, that the other parts of this equation include not just nutrition, but exercise. Exercise has been proven consistently in multiple scientific studies to boost the immune system. So anything you can do to exercise, even a little exercise, such as walking, will help
Zumba.
Boost your immune system. Absolutely. Aerobic exercise, even better. So nutrition and definitely exercise. And then, of course, we have to keep our spirits up, because we do know that people who are depressed, anxious, or otherwise down don't do very well with any kind of infection, leave alone a viral infection such as COVID-19.
Great, thank you so much. And next question from Christina. I drink lemon and orange juice every day. What is it hurt me?
I see. I don't think so. Depending on the quantities, of course, one can overdo anything. There have been cases of people who've consumed excess amounts of carrot juice and fallen ill with liver problems, including liver failure, and turned orange. But assuming that we do things proportionately and with reason, a glass of orange juice and lemon juice is to be encouraged every day, in my opinion. Yes, very good. Vitamin C source, as we just discussed, fresh, untainted, uncontaminated. If you can freshly squeeze the lemon and orange juice, I highly recommend it.
And what about supplements, vitamin C?
I recommend.
Do we need to contact with doctor, or we have to use this?
No, I think you can use vitamin C supplements. As always, I continue to recommend the natural product over the supplement. So if you can get your vitamin C through juices, vegetables, and fruits, by far and away the best way to get them. Whenever something is extracted, purified, bottled, encapsulated, we never know what we've lost in the process. So if you have no other choice, then a supplement is fine. But I think fruits, vegetables, juices are what I would continue to recommend. Some
Fruits,
zinc.
vegetables,
Yes.
Juices,
And
exercise, dance.
Yes, activity, nutrition, yes, and some essential supplements are worthy of recommendation. One is zinc, especially during times when you are evolving, let's say, flu-like symptoms, sore throat, cough, runny nose, whatever. I would go to the zinc lozenges. Zinc has been proven to prevent the entry of virals, particles into cells. So it has a scientific basis for its recommendation, and we know that sucking zinc lozenges shortens the duration of a flu-like illness. So zinc, yes, I would recommend sucking zinc lozenges.
How much zinc every day?
220 milligrams is the average dose per day.
It's one pill?
Yes, it's one pill. If you take
Morning
it that
or
way,
evening?
doesn't matter. You could
Doesn't
take it anytime, with or without food.
I have in home. Okay. Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I have more questions.
Yes.
Please, guys, when you are coming, welcome. Write question, and when watch us Polish people, please write to Polish language. I translate for doctor. When you have any question, now is the time to connect, or different language, please. We speak French, German, Russian, Latina old.
We have Google Translate, so we speak every language. Yes.
And Spanish.
And they
I
can
don't
send
know,
the
but
questions to Seniors in USA, Kate
Yes.
Gorosh, yes?
Yes.
Maybe you can type that in the
Okay.
line so it's clear
It
what is
doesn't
in.
matter. When you are from Japan, please write for us too, and we translate. I don't understand these words, or India, everywhere. And next, third question.
Mhm.
It's Mark from Seniors Living. I have high blood pressure. How often should I visit a doctor?
That's a good
It's
question.
a question for you, Sanjay.
In the old days, we would monitor blood pressure in the clinic periodically, every 3 or 6 months. Well, you know, a lot can happen in 3 months, and so we're missing a lot of data points in between each visit. And as you also know, there is a syndrome called white coat syndrome where one goes to the doctor and one is excited, anticipating either the results of our studies or our measurements or our blood pressure. Heart rate goes up, blood pressure goes up. We go home after the visit, and amazingly, the blood pressure is back down again. Well, of course, I always tell my patients that patients who have white coat syndrome have been shown to have a worse prognosis than patients who don't have it. And the reason is that when you go home and you get, let's say, a large bill from your telephone company, that might raise your blood pressure in the same way as your doctor.
Me.
Or
It's
your
high.
internet bill,
It's
or
like-
your whatever, some piece of bad news. So we all go through life with our blood pressures going up and down, up and down. And it's the average blood pressure that counts, not one reading. So the answer is, if you really want to know about your blood pressure, you either have to have a continuous blood pressure monitor, which are available, or very simply just take your blood pressure 2 or 3 times a day when you're seated, calmly resting, without any emotional provocation or exercise, just resting. Take your blood pressure perhaps first thing in the morning, which is always a very good blood pressure reading to have. I'll tell you about that later, but it has consequences for your long-term prognosis. Early morning blood pressures are very prognostic. So first thing in the morning, perhaps once in the afternoon, and then again in the evening. Now, if you write those values down or store them in a device electronically now, you can see the pattern in your blood pressure. And if you notice, as an adult, blood pressures which are routinely above 135, 140 millimeters mercury, then it's time to ask yourself whether a visit to your physician may not be warranted. In the meanwhile, there are lots of things you can do to improve your blood pressure by yourself. What are those? We're back to the old nutrition and exercise game. So we have to maintain a diet that is low in sodium. Excessive amounts of sodium in the diet have been shown to promote high blood pressure. That is particularly true in certain races. African Americans are one, there are others. But lowering the salt in your diet would be a good thing. Now, before you get carried away with salt supplements, I should tell you that many salt supplements contain potassium. So if you overdo the salt supplements and you are taking other medications, for example, ACE inhibitors, these are common medicines used for blood pressure and heart failure. Typical example would be lisinopril, captopril, enalapril, any of the pril drugs, or you're taking an angiotensin receptor blocker. Those are the sartan drugs, losartan, valsartan. Then you could push your potassium dangerously high. So better would be cut the salt in your diet, use salts which are low in sodium. We are speaking of Himalayan salt, yes?
It's healthy.
Pink salt, so-called. These are the healthier salts, and they're healthy not because they come from the Himalayas necessarily, but because they have less sodium. The processed forms of salt that you buy in the supermarket have too much sodium in them, and the more you shake, the worse it gets. So avoid shaking on the table, use low sodium salts in your cooking, and avoid things that are heavy in salt. Particularly those patients who have high blood pressure or heart failure should keep their salt down to a minimum. And by that, you need to watch out for fast food. Junk food and fast food, takeaway food is all loaded with sodium. Soy sauce is loaded with sodium. Canned foods that are pickled in brine and salt water are loaded in sodium by definition. Processed and smoked foods have a lot of sodium. So the list
What
is
about
endless.
smoke cigar and drink alcohol when we have blood pressure?
Well, we do know. That's slightly changing the topic. But before I get to that, I would like to say that the blood pressure issue is so important that if you notice blood pressures which are routinely and on a trend greater than 135 to 140, that's the top number known as the systolic blood pressure, it is time to have a word with your physician, while at the same time reducing salt in your diet and trying to do the right thing by losing some weight through a combination of a healthy low caloric diet and some form of exercise, which you will have to do if you want to lose weight. Diet alone will rarely do it. But we can talk about the other things, but smoking definitely adds fuel to the fire. And as far as blood pressure is concerned, blood pressure and smoking together are dynamite. Because smoking tends to cause clotting of the blood. It activates the lining of the blood vessels to rupture and release their contents, and frequently triggers heart attacks and strokes, as we all know. So smoking is an altogether bad idea, but when combined with high blood pressure that's uncontrolled, really disastrous situation. Alcohol is a complicated subject. People who are able to moderate their alcohol intake are able actually to gain some health benefits. Unfortunately, all too many people drink excess amounts of alcohol in excess quantities, and unfortunately, excess alcohol does definitely promote high blood pressure. There's something called the U curve, and they've studied this. That is the mortality that is associated with blood pressure. And basically what it shows is that when you use smaller amounts of alcohol, you tend to have some health benefits. But when you use large quantities, you don't. And we start reaping some very bad consequences: high blood pressure, heart failure, liver problems, addiction, etc. Hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much. Next question. So sorry, I something right here because I wrote the question what we have from the audience. And next question is from Eva. Has chest tightness for 2 weeks. Can I be associated with nerves in coronavirus?
So she has chest tightness for 2 weeks, and she's wondering if it's her nerves.
Yes.
Not usually. I mean, there is an anxiety syndrome where people become very anxious and start to sweat.
Especially when now we watch TV news and we listen to radio programs.
So we just need to be able to differentiate a panic attack from something that is possibly life-threatening. So a panic attack, for those who don't know what that is something where people feel obviously very anxious, and along with that anxiety comes feelings of chest tightness, pounding pulse, beating of the heart, palpitations, sweating sometimes. Some of them become so worked up they can actually pass out. So that's a rare thing compared to other causes of chest tightness. Unfortunately, with COVID-19 in particular, there have been an increased association of clotting events in the blood vessels, by which I mean strokes and heart attacks. So it is not a good thing to neglect a chest pain that continues to occur, particularly if it occurs daily. It won't go away. It is associated with other symptoms, shortness of breath, for example, dizziness, that kind of thing. That should get your attention. So if it's in the chest, it won't go away, associated with shortness of breath, and it stops you doing what you need to do. It's telling you something that you should get that evaluated, proceed to a doctor, an emergency room, etc. On the other hand, there are other types of chest tightness also associated with COVID, which are not so life-threatening. For example, many people who have any kind of viral infection, including the current COVID-19, have something called pleurisy. Pleurisy means that the lining of the lung, and the lung, in case you're not aware, sits in your lung cavity, the chest, the thorax, and around the lung is a lining called the pleura, hence the word pleuritis. And the pleura can get inflamed as a consequence of the viral infection. And when it gets inflamed and rubs against the chest wall as you breathe in, it creates a sensation of pain or burning or sharp discomfort that worsens when you breathe in and gets better when you change position and the pleura doesn't rub as much. It's very typical. People say it's worse when they breathe in, worse when they change into certain positions. Now, if that persists, first of all, it should prompt us to wonder whether we've been infected with COVID-19 or anything else, and perhaps a test may be advised in this day and age to check for that because of the quarantining consequences and the way we treat and monitor our patients, but also because it's treatable, and generally it's treated with non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents, for example, ibuprofen.
Thank you so much. And now John send us question. I have problem with pee in the night. I am 72. Is the time to go to urologist?
Yeah. So a very common question, and the question relates to the issue of prostatism. The prostate gland is the gland that sits between the bladder and the urethra, which is the pipe that leads out of the bladder through which we urinate and exits through the penis to the world. So the prostate is, if you like, the gateway. As we get older, the prostate gland becomes larger, and as it does so, it affects the way in which we can control the flow of urine from the bladder, which is the storage, to the external environment when we urinate. So one of the key consequences of our prostate gland getting enlarged is very many times the typical symptoms, and we call that urgency. That means when we have to urinate, we have to go very fast. Frequency, which means we go quite often, much more so than usual, getting up several times in the night perhaps to urinate, which is being described here. Now, the other thing that occurs is that every time we urinate, it's difficult to get the flow to start. So there's this thing called hesitancy, difficulty starting. Sometimes people have difficulty stopping too, and the amounts of urine passed with each attempt get less and more inconsistent. So that's called dribbling. So the frequency, the urgency, the hesitancy, the dribbling, they're all telling you that your prostate gland is malfunctioning. In most cases, that's due to enlargement. That enlargement is called prostatic hypertrophy. It is a fact that as we get older, within our prostate glands, as they increase in size, there is a development of small little foci or locuses or places of cancer development among some of the prostate cells. In fact, in many of the autopsy series of patients that we've seen who are very old, meaning more than 80 to 85 years, there's invariably some cancer within the prostate. So this reason that your doctor needs to examine you, he needs to determine whether the prostate feels normal, whether there's an indication for a blood test called a PSA, which can detect in gross cases the development of cancer or alert us to a problem. And certainly ultrasounds can also be performed on the prostate. So I would urge you, if this has been a problem for a long while, to go see a urologist for sure.
Thank you so much. And next question. It's for women. My veins in my left legs, it's biggest for last 2 months.
Well, that probably means that you have venous disease of the leg. That's quite different from the arteries. We all know about the arteries. That's where arteries block up with cholesterol, and then we have consequences, heart attack, stroke, gangrene, etc. This is different. We're talking about the veins, these structures that we see perhaps on our hands that conduct the blood from any given extremity back to our heart. So it looks as though, by the description, that you have varicose veins, which we now call venous reflux disease or venous insufficiency, and is a condition in which the valves in the veins break down. These valves sit inside your veins, operate like London Bridge. They open and close, and their purpose is to allow blood to go up towards the heart, but stop blood from being pulled down under gravity to your feet. Of course, when they break or malfunction inside the veins engorge. They appear engorged in your legs, and if they've been there for quite some time, the next thing that starts to occur is that the legs start to swell sometimes. you feel that your legs are heavy or tired or aching when you're standing, cooking or cleaning. Things get better when you put your feet up. Sometimes they're associated with restless legs too, or cramps.
And in the night, many of people after 60 always tell me we have cramps.
Yes, cramps. A lot of reasons for night cramps, but varicose veins and vein problems are one of those. And particularly if you have heaviness or constant aching in the legs when you stand a lot, particularly towards the end of the day with sensations of tiredness, swelling of the legs, restless, cramping legs, and visible veins perhaps on your legs, or brown skin changes, which is altogether a more advanced form of the disease, then you should seek the assistance of a physician.
The brown skin and the brown, it's I read, tell me it's true or no, it's more from people who have diabetes?
Well, certainly diabetic people do get browning and pigmentation of the skin. Their problems, though, mostly in terms of discomfort, relate to the nerves, which are damaged by diabetes, especially when it's not controlled. So they get burning in the feet as the lining of the nerves is destroyed by the excess sugar. They get tingling, burning, numbness, funny sensations like pins and needles. And eventually, if it's left long enough, the feet just go numb as the nerves die and they can't feel anything, which may be blessed relief, but poses the issue of losing one's feet by striking it against something, not feeling it, and then developing an ulcer that gets infected, etc.
I read statistic and I see the map in USA. In the most dangerous place when we have problem with diabetics people who have amputation legs in California.
Well, it is true, and California is not unique. It's wherever there's a lot of diabetes in the world. Wherever there's a lot of obesity, there's a lot of diabetes, because
Why?
as
Because
you know,
people eat more corn?
No. It has just to do with obesity. The more obese we are, the greater the stress on the pancreas. There's a form of diabetes called type 2 diabetes, which is the commonest, where the person is otherwise well until middle-aged. They put on weight, particularly weight around the midriff area, the stomach area. And for reasons we have not completely understood scientifically, that poses a stress on the pancreas in terms of insulin production, also causes the tissues not to respond to that insulin. So they then develop diabetes. Now, the good news is if they lost that weight and lost the central obesity, then the diabetes goes away. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot there to shoot for, and a lot of possibilities of improvement if only we can lose the weight. Easier said than done, I know.
Okay, we wait now for more questions. Guys, when you have any question, please we wait. I just need to change because sometimes we have this is very slowly from phone to here.
Yes.
We need to little bit like 2 minutes. And
can you type perhaps the website address that they can go to submit the question?
Yes. What's about the veins problem? What people have, and what's about stocking?
Yes. So yes, I think that's one of the things that I would greatly recommend, particularly to any of your viewers who spend a lot of time at home, confined now because of the COVID and unable to get out, spend a lot of time sitting in one position. Gravity obviously is in play. While we can elevate our legs to help and do leg exercises to promote the pump, one of the things that we want to do is to do toe ups, when you stand and go up on your toes and come down, or when we're sitting, we do feet ups, where we pump the calf muscles, the gastrocnemius, the calf pump in the calf. That muscle movement tends to promote the circulation and move the excess fluid out. But as a rule, if you can wear a compression stocking that supports the vein, put that on first thing in the morning when you get up, and keep that on till you go to sleep at night. While it may be a little uncomfortable from a heat point of view, it's very, very useful in terms of preventing symptoms of swollen veins and leaky veins. I recommend them. Typically a pressure around 20 to 30 millimeters of mercury, and I would recommend that you wear them all the way up to the groin to support the maximum surface area of the veins that you can, either wearing a thigh high or a pantyhose type compression system. Knee high ones are good, but thigh high ones are way better.
I am from Poland, from Europe, and I feel very, very so sorry for people who live here, because seniors in Europe walk more. Here is, especially here in California, is much more hot and heat, and we don't have possibility to go outside.
Yes.
It's like 6 months we are frozen in the building.
Yes.
We wake up in the morning and we
Yes.
have 90 degrees
Yes.
outside, 100, and we stay in home. We go to the car, and just we have possibility doing the exercises.
Well, you
in
know,
home.
California aside, there are large parts of the United States and other parts of the world too, where people spend 4, 5, 6 months under terrible winter conditions, where it's sub-zero temperatures outside and icy, and they have to come up with some imaginative ways to do their exercise, either within their own living confinements or at some sort of indoor gym. But we all have to do that. There's no way out of it, and we have to build up a walking program and develop, at the very minimum, a walking program that involves going out to exercise for half an hour at least once or twice a day, preferably, depending on your age and your physical activity level. You could increase that further to other forms of aerobic exercise, treadmill, bicycle, etc. But the key is to do some form of exercise and to try to do it despite ambient weather conditions, whether it's excess heat or whether it's excess cold. I've heard every excuse imaginable to man during my time as a physician. It's too cold outside, doctor. It's too hot outside, doctor. And I give different, I don't have a ready solution for the weather, but I have to say also that it's true that we have to try.
It's true. We just have possibility to exercise in the room, in the seniors living, or we go to the gym, but not everybody have possibility to go to the gym. And every day, remember, my friends, every day, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., we meet here in this channel, Active 50
Yes.
TV Institute of Longevity, in the Facebook, or we meet in the YouTube channel. I just check and I tell you the name. Every day, 10 a.m. to 11, and we have nice time together. And 5 p.m. we just go for walk, for exercise little bit, and we have lovely time. But it doesn't matter lovely more, no, but I think lovely, guys, because last time 2 days ago we go for walk and I have 230 people in the with monitor, and we walk, and you walk in your house, you walk under table, you're doing something exercise with me. I show you the nature, what is nice to be outside.
Yes, that's very important actually, to keep your spirits up and have somebody walking with you. Always when you exercise and talk with somebody, the time goes by much better, you enjoy your exercise better, and you get more from it. So that's a great service you're providing.
And the seniors in USA Kate Dorosh, in the YouTube channel, Seniors in USA Kate Dorosh, I write you when we finish the links. And we have here the Zumba, Gold Zumba for seniors when you want to exercise. And this is dance Zumba in the rain for seniors. Is the 700 view. What means 700 people dance. Great job. Great job, my friends. And you have many kinds of exercises. I give you more, and we want to be together and spend time together. I just want show you the best of the best what we have possibility now doing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Doctor. I read yes. I need to use my second microphone. I forget today, so sorry. And the lesson from today, what you want to do, if I ask you now to rate your confidence on a scale 1 to 10, what will you say? Do you have a clearly defined path or plan of action in life? You can grow yourself by knowing your worth and reaching for what you deserve in your life. I mean, maybe you just take the notebook and you write your story. You write your family tree for future, for your children, grandchildren, and write your book and write your story. This is something amazing. When you write something story, please send to me, and we doing the beautiful book for many senior story, many people's nice story. Every story is individual. It's nice, and the very nice lesson for all people. Good?
Yes, do something, do some exercise, keep your nutrition up, exercise with Kate, and please be optimistic, and we'll all get there together.
We are optimistic and we meet each other every day. We spend time. Now we spend online, but when the time coronavirus finish and quarantine finish, we just want meet each other. I want meet the seniors in seniors living, and we have hagushek, and we have everything what we now are a little bit like frozen, but believe me guys, we have nice time when everything finish. But now we need to take care and be healthy, be happy, and doing something. Change your habits. This is the most important time. We don't lose the time. We're doing something good for us, for family, from the country, for all the world, because we want be. We are we are good people. We are good human. Doesn't matter what is inside. We need to thinking about beautiful nature, what we have, and be always grateful for everything what we have. And thank you so much, Sanjay, for your answers, for your topic, and be with us. Thank you for for your time. Be with Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, my pleasure. Be well.
You promise?
Yes.
Thank you. Lovely man. I love so much. And thank you so much. And we see 5 p.m. We go for walk. Doctor tell we go for walk. We go for walk. You walk in your garden, in your foreign balcony. You walk in your room. Walk with me. I just show you beautiful, amazing view. And I love you so much. And take care. And 5 p.m.
Thank you.